Story. He cheated with our neighbor, and I found out through our dog. Our dog, Charlie, is a golden retriever with too much energy and too little sense of boundaries. He's the kind of dog who loves everyone. Delivery drivers, toddlers, mailboxes. But lately he had developed a strange obsession with our next door neighbor's house. It started small. Every time we let him into the backyard, he'd run to the fence separating our yard from theirs. He'd bark, whine, scratch, and sometimes even leap over, if we weren't watching. At first we laughed. Our neighbor, Tessa, was sweet and always waved from her garden. "He must smell my cat," she joked once. But Charlie wasn't interested in the cat. He was interested in getting inside, and eventually he did, again and again. I'd come home and find him wagging happily at Tessa's back porch. Once I caught her feeding him homemade biscuits. "He's such a good boy," she cooed, scratching behind his ears. "I don't mind." But I did. It wasn't just about the boundaries. It was about the way my boyfriend, Nate, brushed it off every time. "Let him be," he'd say. "Charlie's just being Charlie." Except Charlie had never acted like this before, and something about the way Nate avoided looking at me when I brought it up. It started to get under my skin. Something was off. I just didn't know yet that my dog would be the one to prove it. It wasn't just the dog anymore, it was Nate. He started acting strange whenever Tessa came around. At first, I didn't notice. We live in a suburban cul-de-sac where neighbors wave and borrow sugar and talk about lawn fertilizer like it's exciting. So when Tessa dropped by to return a baking dish or borrow a hose, it felt normal. But then I started seeing it. The way Nate's posture shifted when he saw her, a little straighter, a little more relaxed. The way he smiled, too wide, too familiar. The way his voice changed, deeper, more careful. Once I caught him glancing at the window before changing his shirt, like he knew she might be outside, like he wanted her to see. I asked him about it. He laughed. "You're being paranoid. Tessa's just friendly." But he said it too quickly, like he'd prepared the line. I tried to dismiss it. We'd been together for 4 years. Nate wasn't perfect, but he wasn't a cheater. At least I didn't think so. Still, Charlie kept running to Tessa's. And every time I brought it up, Nate deflected. "You're jealous of a dog now?" he joked once. But I wasn't jealous. I was unsettled. So I bought something small, something simple. A little clip-on camera meant for pets. It was marketed for good TikToks and doggy adventures. But I didn't want to capture Charlie's zoomies. I wanted to know where he kept going, and what, or who, he was really running to. It was a sunny Tuesday when I finally clipped the camera onto Charlie's collar. Nate had already left for work. I let Charlie out into the backyard like usual and watched as he made a beeline straight to the fence. He barked once, then leapt over, like it was nothing. Part of me hoped I'd find nothing, that I'd watch the footage later and feel stupid for being suspicious, that I'd see Charlie sniffing flower beds and chasing squirrels and being exactly the golden goofball I knew him to be. But what I saw changed everything. That evening, after Charlie came back, tail wagging, face covered in dirt, I plugged the camera into my laptop. The first few minutes were what you'd expect. Shaky footage of grass, Charlie's panting, and a few blurry shots of flower pots. Then the frame settled. The dog had paused at Tessa's back porch, and there was Nate, standing in her kitchen. He wasn't fixing anything. He wasn't returning something. He was laughing. She handed him a glass of wine. In the middle of the day. Then, without hesitation, he reached for her waist. She leaned in, and they kissed. Full. Familiar. Like they'd done it 100 times. I slammed the laptop shut. My face burned. My throat closed. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the ease of it. The way he smiled into her kiss. The way she touched his chest like she belonged there. My heart shattered. In slow motion. And the worst part, my dog had known all along. And now I did too. I didn't cry that night. I didn't scream or throw things or call him with rage in my voice. I just sat on the edge of the bed, laptop beside me, watching the clip over and over until I memorized the way his hand slid across her back, until my tears dried into something sharper. Anger, precision. The next day, I uploaded the video to a private folder and sent it, anonymously, to the HOA board. Our neighborhood had a strict code of conduct. Appearances mattered here. Image, community reputation. Nate and I had both signed that code when we moved in, and now he'd broken it. Not just the moral part, the literal part. Tessa was on the HOA board. Conflict of interest, undisclosed relationship, multiple violations. The clip spread fast. Within 72 hours, Tessa resigned. Nate came home that Friday, pale and shaking. "Why is the HOA involved?" he asked, slamming the door. "Did you send them something?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He saw the truth in my eyes. By Sunday, a moving truck pulled into her driveway, another in 2 hours by Tuesday. He asked me to forgive him. I asked him to leave. They moved away quietly. No goodbye, no closure. And Charlie? He doesn't run to the neighbors anymore. He lies in the sun, tongue out, tail still, loyal even when humans aren't. Sometimes I scratch behind his ears and whisper, "Good boy," because in the end he was the one who told me the truth, the only one who never lied, and I'll never stop being grateful for that.